What's up, y'all? This is BAIR, and you're now tuned into the BAIR Exam, where we examine some of the dopest bars and verses in hip-hop history. Charlie Brown from Leaders of the New School rhymed on a Tribe Called Quest Scenario remix, saying, "Rippin' and rompin', New York, North Kakalaka, and Compton."
Rippin' and rompin', New York, North Kakalaka, and Compton.
Well, we're gonna go in reverse. On the last episode, we talked about Kendrick Lamar coming out of Compton, California. This episode, we're gonna take it to North Kakalak and highlight one of North Carolina's dopest MCs. This week, we'll be talking about Phonte's first verse from The Good Fight off of his 2011 solo debut, Charity Starts at Home. Up early with the sun and the stars, 6 a.m., ring the alarm. Weatherman say it's 90 today, but it's gonna feel like 100 tomorrow. So throw some fresh water under the arms. Bullshit soon as I come in the job. Boss hit me with the news like a box cutter under the jaw. Said they just had a meeting and about 300 of y'all are getting fired cause we been defunded. Can't say I didn't even see it coming. I always knew that one day they find a way to throw me to the wolves, and once they came into my room on that Friday afternoon, I was thinking, why y'all sucker ass niggas couldn't fire me on Monday? I know it's not sane, but yo, I'm just saying. Everybody prays for the day they see the light, but the light at the end of the tunnel is a train. $5 gas and poverty rates are rising much higher than your hourly rates. So if you thinking about quitting, you should probably wait, cause everybody gotta do a damn job that they hate. Go and live out your dreams, that's what they telling. Fam in my ear all day and they yelling. Keep it real, Tay, and don't ever sell out. But how the hell you sell out when ain't nobody selling? If there was one artist, I think that you could say, the BAIR exam is for, is probably Phonte. I just think he's a super dope MC. He's a guy that's unheralded to a certain degree. And I think it's important that we highlight MCs such as him. So you will hear a lot of Phonte. He's that dope, and I just feel like we need to acknowledge the brother and his work. In doing that, I would be remiss to not mention the connection to Drake. Now, we all know Drake as one of the biggest artists at this point in music history.
What up, Lil Bruh? What up, Slumville?
I mean, he has numerous records that he's set on the charts and sales and touring. But what a lot of people don't know, and I'd say most people don't know that are at least fans of Drake and casual listeners of hip hop, is that he was highly influenced by Phonte.
I hope you know that y'all the reason I have fun still.
When I heard the joint and the fear, you know what I'm saying, it just made me proud, you know what I'm saying. I was glad to know that I was able to inspire someone from the next generation just as someone had inspired me beforehand, and it was just almost like a passing of the torch, or just things kind of coming full circle for me. So and also just the fact that he was a person that was very open about sharing his influences, you know what I'm saying. And it's a lot of cats that like to act as if their music is created in a vacuum. But Drake was just very honest, like, look, I fuck with Little Brother, I fuck with Slum Village, these are the cats that helped shape me. And I really appreciate that. I thought that was very generous of him.
Phonte is not only a dope MC, but he's also a great singer and songwriter. So, if you take it back, let's go rewind. Back in the 80s, it wasn't, when hip hop is first on the rise, it was not cool to sing on the microphone. That's not something that was in style. You've had artists that did it over the years, but it wasn't really something that was accepted. You had guys like Kane, KRS-One, a few others that were coming out of the 80s that would sing occasionally or just do something, kind of singy, if you will, on a track. Then you get, of course, to the 90s, you get Bone Thugs and Harmony, which again, it's more harmonizing, and they kind of really don't get enough of the credit for what they brought to the table to what guys are doing now as well. And you fast forward, you would get other people that would kind of sing on the track, but it's not really until Phonte and Little Brother hit that you get a guy that's an accomplished dope MC that's really singing on songs as well. You get Drake that follows. He's influenced and impacted by this particular style. So Drake burst on the scene in 2009 with So Far Gone and the hit single Best I Ever Had. From there, you can kind of put together like some sort of a family tree, if you will, of artists that at the very least, you don't get these artists in the same fashion that you get them if you don't have the success of Drake. So I thought it was very important to lay the foundation of understanding who Phonte is and his influence indirectly on hip hop music in a large way. So getting into the verse. I love his rhyme style. I love the creativity. I love the wittiness of Phonte. He starts out the verse. Now, before we actually get to that, let me rewind. You got a guy, the first I've ever heard, this song, is really kind of about, it's what I would call blue collar hip hop or common man music. He's talking about, at least in the first verse, somebody that's a working man. And I thought that's kind of interesting because if you go back to the days of Biggie Smalls, and he says on Flavor in Your Ear remix in the early 90s of Craig Mack, he says, "Don't be mad, UPS is hiring."
You're mad cause my style you're admiring. Don't be mad, UPS is hiring.
It's almost a jab at the working man. Like, Sonny from Bronx Tale would say, the working man is a sucker. So he's talking about, it's not cool to have a regular job. Fast forward all the way to 2004, Kanye drops The College Dropout, and he's talking about working at the Gap. Boom, my mind's blown. I'm like, dude, you're actually talking about having a regular job at one point, which most people do. 99% of the people on this planet have had a regular job, but he's comfortable putting himself out there like that. Little Brother comes out with Dreams. I think that was on their third album, and they talk about dreams are cool, but dreams don't keep the lights on. Mama, I got dreams, but dreams don't keep the lights on. Now Phonte's here on The Good Fight, and he's talking about having a regular job and things that regular people go through, and which is why I kind of connect with his music. So in the first verse, he's talking about, he's up with the sun and the stars. So, be up early. Alarm goes off at 6 a.m. Got to get to it. All right, then he gives you a visual. Weatherman said it's 90 today, but it's going to feel like 100 tomorrow. So make sure you wash up, Get the armpits right. Don't be out here funky. So I kind of like that. It's something simple. It's funny. It's like you get the visual of like, you got to freshen up. So he says, throw some fresh water under the arms. Then he goes into the work environment. He says, bullshit as soon as I come to the job. So as soon as you come in the job, everybody been there before. It's like, damn, the bullshit right off the door, right? Something going on at your job. You're like, dog, I just walked in, man. Can I have my coffee? Can I get my computer on? Can I get set up at my station? And boom, he hits him. And then he gives you the visual. Boss hit me with the news like a box cutter under the jaw. So he says they just had a meeting and about 300 of y'all are getting fired because we've been defunded. If you think about the movie, The 300, right? When the soldiers, they basically sacrificed themselves to kind of hold off the army that was coming until they could get back up, until they get all the troops rallied. And so those 300 soldiers basically sacrificed themselves. So I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure if there was an exact, intentional connection to the movie 300 with that line, but I thought that's another line that stuck out to me. So Phonte records and releases this song in 2011, and he uses the word defunded, right? We've been defunded. Now here we are in 2020, 2021, you're hearing terminology and phrases like defund the police. So I thought that was dope that he used that word well before it was mainstream, right? To use that word in hip hop, you didn't really hear that. So he says, we've been defunded. So, you know, about 300 of y'all, we gonna have to let go out of the company, all right? So then he goes on to say, you know, I always knew that one day they try to throw me to the wolves. So that's interesting, right? That for those that may not know, the term, you know, throwing someone to the wolves is basically, you know, it comes from, it's in the 1800s. They would use, it's a term that's probably the earliest it's been as far as literature and writings, but basically meaning to sacrifice someone for yourself, to protect yourself or for the betterment of the group, you know, so you're throwing somebody to the wolves. I think in Russia, they have a term that's very similar called lightning the sleigh. So he says, I knew this day was coming, right? I knew this day was coming, but y'all couldn't find me on Monday? Y'all couldn't do this on Monday? Y'all gonna wait and y'all gonna hit me with this on Friday? Mess up my whole damn weekend. Don't nobody want to go into the weekend like this with this on their mind. So you hit me with this on Friday and you couldn't do this on Monday, huh? Then he hits you with a homophone, which is two words that sound alike but have different meanings. So he says, I know it's not sane to think like this, but yo, I'm just saying. And I thought that was, again, he's very witty, clever, using that, the homophone there. Just some wordplay that I thought is dope. He says, you know, everybody prays for the day they see the light, but the light at the end of the tunnel is a train. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe there was a poet that first used that expression, the light at the end of the tunnel is actually a train, something like that. And that's, you know, it's interesting that he's taking almost like a pessimistic view of things, right? Like, I knew this was going to happen someday, and I was hopeful, and a lot of people are hopeful, but yeah, you think you see a light at the end of the tunnel, but in actuality, it's a train coming to take you out, to finish you off, so put you out of your misery. So then he goes on to give you like some reality rap, some realness of the day. He says, $5 gas and poverty rates are rising much higher than your hourly rates. So if you're thinking about quitting, you should probably wait, because everybody has to do a damn job that they hate, right? We'll talk about that in a second. But first, let's get to the whole $5 gas. Now, he was being extreme, you know, little artistic liberty. Gas wasn't $5 a gallon in 2011, but it was pretty high. It was pushing close to $4 at the time, well over $3 a gallon. But what was also going on in 2011 was the poverty rate was 15%. 15% when this album comes out, and which would mean in America that over 46 million people were living in poverty. 46 million people were living in poverty. So he's saying like, yo, it's rough out here right now. People are struggling. So, you know, gas is high. Jobs really aren't paying. It's not a lot of jobs, might not be a lot of jobs out there. So if you're thinking about quitting, you might want to hold off, right? Because everybody got to do a job that they hate. That's pretty much the scenario.
You're cool. You, I'm out.
The song is The Good Fight, and you know, it comes from a saying, a biblical reference actually, which, you know, refers to fighting a good fight, which Apostle Paul talks or says in 2 Timothy 4:7, where he says, I fought the good fight, I finished my course, I kept the faith. And I think that's what the song is really about, and he kind of nails it on this verse about fighting the good fight, trying to do the right thing, trying to live, you know, your best life for real, be your best self, and finishing the course, you know, that you set out for yourself and the things that you want to accomplish, and keeping the faith, regardless of the ups and downs that may come with that. So salute to Phonte, dope MC. We don't give him enough credit, in my personal opinion, or acknowledge him enough, and we will make sure we do so. We will tip our hat to the brother here on the bar exam, time and time again. So much love for Phonte for giving a dope verse. Salutes.
Up early
early with the sun and the stars. 6 a.m. ring the alarm. Weatherman say it's 90 today, but it's gon' feel like 100 tomorrow. So throw some fresh water under the arms. Bullshit soon as I come in the job. Boss hit me with the news like a box cutter under the jaw. Said they just had a meeting and about 300 of y'all are getting fired cause we've been...
Hip hop heads, it's that time again. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking this link right here. And we'll be giving you content every week, so you can stay tuned. Last but not least, please leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of my boy Phonte. Dope MC, classic verse, what y'all think? You know we do, or else it wouldn't be on the bar exam. Long live hip hop.